always been a hot topic, but even more so now it seems. But should you be a homemaker or should you work 9 to 5? Well, what if you can have both? I happen to love my 9 to 5. I also happen to love homemaking. In this video, we're gonna explore how to do both.
The first tip is to plan ahead as much as possible, and especially for dinner. We have this new calendar called a Skylight calendar, and you can put in the dinner plan for each week. It's really helpful for anyone who wants to just get started. So if my husband comes home before me, he'll start dinner because he knows what we're having, or if I get home first, then I go ahead and start it too. It also helps me look ahead and know what I'm gonna need to put out for the week. So like, do I need to thaw chicken and beef, and what kind of things do I need to get ready and make sure that I have? We do kind of a outline. So like every Sunday we'll do hot chicken, and then once a week we'll do like Mexican and something like that. That keeps it simple. I would also recommend committing 3 recipes to memory so that you don't start from scratch every single week. My next tip is to find the homemaking tasks that matter to you and then kind of forget the rest. I'm kind of an all or nothing person, so I've always had a huge garden during the summer. I want a garden, I enjoy gardening, and I want to have fresh vegetables. So when I try to do a huge garden, inevitably everything dies. We live in Alabama, it's super dry and hot in the summer. We also like to travel in a big trip, usually in the summer, and so they just didn't match what my lifestyle was. I'm not home enough to have a huge garden. So this year I was set on having a garden, but we stuck with a reasonable amount. So I only have basil, tomatoes, cucumbers, and a few other things, but those are the main things. And it's been super easy to just keep it watered and alive. It's small and it's producing really well. Another thing I don't do anymore is kombucha. So I really like to do sourdough, and I used to do kombucha, but I was just letting it ruin because I wasn't brewing kombucha enough for the SCOBY to stay alive. So I just stopped doing that, and I focus on the things that we actually use. We use sourdough weekly, so I keep that one, and that really helps me to get to enjoy some homemaking tasks but not have things just go bad. Next tip is to use your resources. When we had a lot of land, we had chickens, and I loved having chickens. I loved having eggs every day. It was easy. They were easy to take care of. And when we moved to the smaller land, I was like, oh, we can have chickens again. And my husband, who's much wiser and logical than me, was like, absolutely not. We have a small backyard. They're gross. You don't want that. And he was 100% correct. But I still wanted the all or nothing, like I'm going to do animals and plants and all the things that make me want to be, at home and doing something. And then I realized, there's no less than like 4 people that I know that also have chickens. So they'll give me eggs. Like, that's great. You still have those farm fresh eggs. You still get to do it, but I don't have to do all of the work. And when you work away from the home, there just aren't enough evening hours to take care of all the things and still intentionally be with your family. So I just had to make that choice. And then another thing that I really enjoy doing is sourdough. And I mentioned we do sourdough every Sunday. We do sourdough pancakes every Sunday. So I do keep my sourdough starter because of that. Like much of the world, I started it in 2020, but at that time it was my first year as a manager, and the manager's working half day. So I would be home by like 2 o'clock, and I could stretch and fold, make bread, and do those types of things. But the reality is now I've wasted so many loaves because I let it over ferment, because I'll start the process and then put it in the refrigerator and honestly just forget about it throughout the week. So instead of trying to bake sourdough bread every week, which we really don't even eat that much bread, so I don't know, I think I was just doing it for fun. I have friends at work really who make sourdough, and so I could easily get a loaf of sourdough bread. One even brought me a loaf of bread on maternity leave, and so there are just resources I can use where I don't have to do all of that. My last tip is to work in small blocks of time. This is especially hard for me because again, all or nothing. I want to either do it all right now or not even start it. But recently I've just kind of gotten better at starting some things and then like tweaking it throughout the week, because the end result is still, beautiful flowers or sourdough, whatever it is you're trying to do. You can still get to the end result. So I try to focus more on the actual process than getting to the end result super quickly. And that helps me feel more productive and like I get stuff done when I am at home.
Thanks for watching. If you like this type of content, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss a new video, and hit that like button. It just helps me out.